because naturally these are dangerous places. I mean, it's a dangerous place in terms of the weather and the elements. It's a dangerous place in terms of really quite great heights, great big blocks of rock which are kind of being moved around. So, yes, of course, there's an element of danger to it.
But how did they actually get the stone off the mountain?
When you go to these rock faces, to prise them off, you really need wooden levers and ropes, and you can pull them off. And a lot of people tying, well, you can see the one right in front of us there. If you could get hold of that, you could pull down just the right sort of size block.
The boys can't quarry an entire boulder, so this shot is going to take some more graphic magic.
We found a small rock that we were trying to film, trying to get to fall over, basically, to make it look like it's a large rock.
I'm going to give this bit of fishing wire a tug and see if we can make it look like it's been wrenched out of a quarry.
Okay, ready, Steve? Pull that rock.
Pull it, yank it.
This is harder than it looks. We want to get the angle exactly right, so it's time for one of our studio staff to step in.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, pull. Business time. Just took you to big school, mate.
Oh, I loosened it.
That looks like it might be the one.
In our bluestone journey, you'll see this 1-foot piece of slate become a 5-ton rock.
Cheers, guys.
Next, the boys need to recreate the journey back to Stonehenge. Tim thinks that the stone shifters would have faced danger from other tribal groups.
Some of it would have been friendly territory, some of it would have been hostile territory. So mapping their way through the landscape and working out what was the best route, I can imagine, was part of the challenge of getting back. People were pretty fierce, and they certainly didn't always treat each other with quite the respect we might imagine.
Yeah, we got the shot and it looks great.
The boys are nearly ready to show you their recreation of the Bluestone epic. But before they do, there's one more thing I've been wondering about.
You know, as I hurtle along the M4 here in England, which is roughly geographically the same route the Bluestones would have taken, needless to say, I'm going quite quickly, and it brings to mind just how different our attitudes about time and how we inhabit time, how different it is from those people who built Stonehenge and who took weeks and months to come and gather these stones and then move them.
I want to know why they thought all of this time and danger and effort was worth it. Tim thinks that the challenge of the journey itself may have made it a rite of passage.
What is it about bringing the Bluestones from Carnmenon? What is it that makes you think that that may have been a coming-of-age ritual?
It is a big job to go and do. And one has the feeling that this is something not just of a challenge in sort of political or economic or social terms, but it's actually a challenge in personal terms. To be part of the team that goes over to get these stones is perhaps the sort of thing that would have been a rite of passage. These great epic journeys, of course, they're recounted in fictional tales like Lord of the Rings. And I think the people who came back from their journey to the Preseli must have had a story to tell the folks back home, as it were, which was every bit as gripping as something like Lord of the Rings.
The boys are now ready to show you what no camera has ever seen. The young men from Stonehenge have just arrived at Carnmenon. Getting there on foot has been a huge challenge. Now they have to quarry a bluestone and carry it 250 miles back home. A task like this turns a boy into a man. Our stone shifters face the danger of quarrying a 5-ton bluestone. They've done it. Now, an even bigger challenge lies ahead. Their journey is a prehistoric epic to rival Lord of the Rings. These stone shifters need to pull their bluestone through thick forests and over barren mountains until they finally reach the sea. Then, It's a treacherous journey by boat around the rocky Welsh coast, with even more peril to come. Inside this forest, a hostile tribe is waiting to attack. We're about to see the flying rock graphic. One of the Stonehenge tribe is killed. The rest must temporarily abandon their bluestone. At nightfall, they return. They must get this bluestone to Stonehenge. The arduous journey is nearly at an end. Stonehenge appears on the horizon. The arrival of the bluestones helped transform it into a super temple. We've brought the bluestones, and we've raised the sarsen stones. Our next challenge is to uncover one of Stonehenge's greatest mysteries: the rituals that took place inside it. Because Stonehenge was sacred, it's a clean site. The people who used it didn't leave ritual objects for archaeologists to discover.
Being here is awe-inspiring, really, but quite frustrating because these stones can't or won't speak. So if I'm going to find out what happened in here, I'm going to have to look elsewhere.
For our next big recreation, we're going to show you a Stonehenge sacred ritual. The boys need me to tease out the evidence this will be based on. First, we need to find out about shaman, the guys who led the ceremonies. I've got lots of questions.
Who were these shaman guys? Why did the people pay attention to them? Where did they get their power from?
I'm back with Alison Sheridan to find out.
Describe for me what a shaman is in scripture.
Well, a shaman is a term used for the ones who led the ceremonies and the rituals, and they might go into a trance themselves. Yeah, and when they're in the trance, they believe that they can fly or travel in some way, and then come back with news from the gods and the ancestors.
Why do you think people would trust them?
I think people would trust them because they believed fundamentally that these people did have the power to affect their lives, to heal illnesses, to call down assistance from the other world. We can certainly say from looking at their graves that, yeah, that these people did exist.
The boys are setting the scene. Our shaman is going to be leading a night ritual within the stones. It's quite a challenge. They have to figure out how to transform a modern gym into Stonehenge.
We're basically setting up our little campfire, which is essentially just 3 kind of flickering orange lights on the floor, and our shaman's going to be doing various things. We're going to have all the stones behind them, and we're going to have stones in front as well that are going to be kind of passing into darkness and out into the henge itself.
To recreate the shaman trance, we need to delve deeper into their powers.
We basically want to kind of explore what these guys might have been seeing at the time when they're kind of, on this incense or being flicked with the feathers with the various substances and stuff. So we thought it'd be great to crash in on a couple of eyes, like really close up. It's really hard to actually keep your eye open because obviously you instinctively want to close it, and we found that some people were better than others. Steve was rubbish. Because we're zoomed in so tight on the eyes, the person can't really move around because, the tiniest bit of movement is going to be really magnified. So we've attached a bicycle helmet to a stand which locks the head still. So it looks a little bit like a torture chamber, but it's getting the desired result.
So, our shaman's journey is underway. But what should we do for the ritual? Alison wants to show me some other objects discovered near Stonehenge that could have been used to create shamanic rituals. You've got some shamanic type goodies here?
Yes, well, it's actually the bone, it's a leg bone of probably a crane. And you can see the holes here.
It's like a little tin flute.
Yeah, that's right. It's
a bone
yes.
flute.
So maybe you were evoking the crane and you're doing the crane dance. Music certainly would have formed an important element in the ritual. And they might have used other things. This here, it's absolutely intriguing, a little piece of bone. And a colleague of mine has suggested that perhaps this could have been a kind of clip, and you would put bird feathers in it. And this would have been waved around as part of the ceremony.
What I want to imagine is like booze, you know, and drugs. Is that likely to have been part of these celebrations?
Yeah, I mean, we can speculate as much as we like. What we can say for sure is that there would have been music. It's very, very likely that they would have done chanting, repetitive movement, going around in circles. Why not? I mean, Stonehenge itself is circular. In order to achieve a trance-like state. They may well have had access to mind-altering substances, magic mushrooms, that kind of stuff. And all of this was so that they could make this journey to the world of the ancestors and the gods.
So here it is, our best estimate of a Stonehenge shamanic ritual. The shaman is creating a trance that will take him and his tribe into the world of the gods. He calls down his tribe's animal spirits to help them. They are deep in a trance state. The gods have come to Stonehenge.
Without the people to do the ceremonies and the rituals, Stonehenge is a monument. But with the people, they are the ones who make Stonehenge meaningful.
We've shed light on one of Stonehenge's greatest mysteries. But in order to understand Stonehenge, there is another puzzle we need to crack. And rather than spiritual, this one is sinister. Contributing to the mystery here at Stonehenge is the fact that half the site has never been excavated. But there has been one discovery that I think tells us more about Stonehenge and perhaps ourselves than any others. The dead guy in the ditch. His is the only complete contemporary skeleton ever discovered at Stonehenge. He died a violent death, one of the most dramatic moments in the history of the temple.
Action.
For our next graphic, we're going to recreate exactly what happened to him and find out what this tells us about Stonehenge. My task is to discover how and why he died. So I'm going to meet osteoarchaeologist Jackie McKinley to see what clues we can find in his bones. The guy in the ditch is a rare example of someone who lived around Stonehenge when it was a working temple. Before we uncover how he died, I want to ask Jackie what his bones tell us about the lives of Stonehenge people. Okay. What was life generally like in Britain during this period?
I think there's a bit of a myth, really, that life was nasty, brutish and short. But this guy looks a lot better than a lot of 18th, 19th century individuals you would have